Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As promised, I will be taking you through part 2 of the equipment that I used at NAC, and this today, of course, is the Benchrest portion. As you might know, the Northeast Airgun Classic had 2 tournaments in it. One was, of course, Benchrest, 100-yard Benchrest, and the other one was PRS. Now, I placed really respectably in both, and I actually ended up making pro bench finals with this setup here. Even though I am in no way a bench shooter, it's not something I really focus on. I'm more of a PRS guy, but had a lot of success. So I wanted to share my setup with you so that you can hopefully be successful. Like I always say, I'm just a regular ass dude, just like you. Anybody can do what I do. You just got to put the time into practice and hopefully have some decent equipment. So let's get the gun out of the way first. So this is what I'm calling the People's Impact. Well, Air Shootist, why are you calling it the People's Impact? Because friends of the channel keep sending me stuff that I keep strapping onto this Impact, and that's what makes it the People's Impact. So first and foremost, you're going to probably notice this charging handle. That was sent in by Robert. I did not have this at the time of the event, and just for comparison, here's the stock cocking lever handle that I used. So that's the one that I had on it then. Thank you, Robert, for that. I will be using that going forward. It's large and in charge and very easy to manipulate. I'll really like that for bench. So moving on from there. All right, the gun itself internally is 100% stock factory. I did not even change the factory tune other than just a little bit of power wheel tweaking. And I'm shooting the 44.8 grain FX pellets right at about 875-ish. And that seems to be a pretty good accuracy node for this gun. Let's see, what else can I tell you about it? So, of course, up front, we've got an Accutech, I think this is the FC4 bipod. This thing is awesome. It has both cant, right? So it can cant on the rifle like this. And it has pan. So you can pan it like this, which is critical to making sure you're not twisting that frame of that gun when you're moving it to different targets. So to be able to pan is something you're definitely going to want. And what you're also going to want if you get this Accutech, I think they're actually compatible with all Accutech bipods, are these P-ski feet. This allows it to really get very, very stable on your bench. And I found that having these on there is a major advantage. So I actually ended up borrowing this exact bipod from Dan and had to give it back to him because it's like a $600 bipod. But once I got home, the first thing I did was get one of these on order. So this is an amazing piece of equipment. It does have a QD mount on it. So to put it back on your rifle, very simple. Get it on your pick rail. And there you go. All right. Now you might have noticed the rail that I have here that this is mounted on is not a factory rail. That is a Crawford and Lipped rail. And that was sent in by Jeff, longtime friend of the channel. Thank you, Jeff, for sending that in. And that was allowing me to get that bipod a little bit further out there. So pretty nice the way that that worked out. And you can just see the way this gun is kind of perched here with the P-ski feet on that bipod. It was perfect. And this is the exact height and everything I had when I shot bench with it. So I didn't even extend these at all. They were just perfectly in like that. And so that's how I ran it. All right. So very important. Next, we're going to talk about the optic. So this is an Element Titan. It's the first focal plane, 5-25 by 56 millimeter objective. And I had this baby cranked all the way to the highest magnification the whole time. I've of course got it mounted with the FX no limit mounts, which are critical. As I said in my last video about the Panthera, what you can do is when you're zeroing this rifle with the no limit mounts, you can go ahead and get those, adjust the mount itself rather than your turret. So you can get your turret set perfectly at optical zero. And that's going to give you the best possible sight picture that you can get. So I always use those. Now, one thing at NAC that you might have been hearing is that the targets had a blue 8-ring. This made it very, very hard to see if you would actually hit it or not. And it was causing a lot of competitors to double shoot their targets because usually that ring is yellow or orange and it's a lot easier to see if you have an impact there. But with this scope, it's such a high quality piece of glass that I was able to actually pretty well see where my impacts were, even if they were in that 8-ring. So I did not once double shoot a target or anything. And I saw a lot of guys doing that. So I credit that to having a good optic on the gun. Also, you'll notice I do have a very cheap little Amazon bubble scope level, and I'll drop a link for that in the comments. And as you guys know, I don't monetize my channel. I don't want you sitting through commercials. So if you buy anything through my Amazon links, it does help the channel slightly. So thank you in advance for that. I'll drop links for all of this stuff in the comments and description here for you guys. So that's basically the gun setup. It's factory stock other than the rail, and now the cocking lever handle, which at the time was not, I was just using the stock one. But even before the competition began, this is a crucial piece of kit. So this right here is a very accurate digital scale. I also got this off Amazon. This thing is so accurate that if you blow on it, you'll literally change the readout on it. So this is something that you're going to need. If you're competing in Benchrest and it's high stakes in a pro environment, everybody's sorting their pellets. So yeah, it's going to take you a couple hours to sit there and weigh 300, 400, 500 pellets. And what I did was I would label the different tins. For example, this one is 44.9. So if they were in that 44.9 range, I'd put them in this one. And I think for the event, I actually shot, I made sure to shoot 44.8. So anything in 44.8 to 44.89, that's what I shot. But that was made possible by this scale. And this thing's pretty cool, actually. It comes with like a little calibration weight and some various tools and a guide on how to use it. And it also has a backlit display, so you could kind of use it at night if you needed to, which is pretty cool. So that was something that was critical before even the tournament started. Then sitting at the actual bench, of course, I used the Bobster AXL glasses. I like these because they cover a huge amount of your eye, and no part of the frame is like in my vision, really. It's all outside of my vision. So when looking down a scope with these on, you're not going to have any problem whatsoever in doing that. And since they're quite large, they provide a lot of protection if somehow you did have some sort of safety thing occur. So from there, I have a kind of an intricate little setup back here. So this is a lab jack. Tim Swan turned me onto these, and it's basically a piece of science equipment where you can, I don't know, I guess like raise and lower beakers or something. I don't know what they really use them for, but the adjustments are very precise. And what I ended up doing, it did not have this foam. My brother-in-law, Andy, had some of this foam, so he coughed some of that up, and I just cut it and put it around here. I'll try to grab a link for that for you guys too. But that's just going to prevent it from sliding around, because if I didn't have this, it would just be a flat aluminum surface. So that's pretty cool. And then on top of that, I'm just using this little cheap Caldwell bag with the V in it. It's a rear bag. So basically I would have the dial going to this side, and I would just have this a little bit in front of my magazine so I could do mag changes and stuff. And from there, I could just simply raise and lower the gun as I saw fit. And then with the pan, I'm able to pan the gun like this to different targets without really flexing the frame. So that was a pretty good way for me to do it. You see a lot of guys with more complicated stuff. The lab jack was like 16 bucks on Amazon. This bag is like something like 20 bucks. So rather than buying a super expensive, precise deal for the back, I just went with that. And you know what? It worked out really well. So yeah, other than that, I think that's really everything. I told you in my last video about the Panthera, I'm kind of a minimalist. I don't really need a lot. Like I use kind of bare bones and I make it work. So that's basically what got me through. The People's Impact and a couple of accessories. And this is exactly how I sat on the bench, minus the scale, obviously, but this is exactly how I competed. And I was able to shoot a really nice card on day one. Day two, I shot an okay card, squeaked into finals, and it was pretty cool seeing my name under Rick Reams and Matt Dubbers. So I was pretty happy with the performance. But again, I'm just a regular guy. You can do this too. Just get yourself some nice gear and practice, and shoot a lot. And you'll find that you might impress yourself with what you can do. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys to kind of see what I used. I know I was getting a lot of questions about it. And yeah, I hope you took something from the video, and have a great day, guys. Cheers.